We begin tonight with a battle between businesses and authorities. Firms in an area of Nigeria's capital are being given 7 days to vacate their premises if the building was originally meant for residential use. It's part of a crackdown by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Punariman Fentola reports.
This is Maitama district in Abuja. It's at the heart of a dispute between businesses and the local authority. Banks and other companies have been told they need to relocate to the central business district. If they refuse to move, they could be sealed up. Officials say notices have been handed into all buildings that have been converted to commercial use from residential status. Here on Ghana Street, businesses are still operating as normal. But it's not clear how long this will last. It's a move that's been roundly condemned by residents here.
With COVID-19, I think it is not really necessary for now. So government should think of, helping the poor masses and also doing things to end the COVID-19 issue before of that.
When you look at it, the most important thing is that had they been they create suitable business areas for people to relocate to, it would have been fine. But like this, they will just wake up one day to say they will remove businesses from Maitama. Look at Zenith Bank, all the banks, commercial banks are located in this Maitama. So it is not fair for them to remove all these business premises from this place.
The decision to take away the business activities in this area must have been thought about for a long time. And for them to come up with this now is not really the best, considering the economic hardship Nigerians are going through. I think they should pipe low a little and let's see how businesses move.
As a government, you have to put all that it takes for your people to enjoy. You have not done such things and your people are trying to do things on their own and you are pushing them away. I think it's not the right thing.
Officials say this is just one area they're targeting and that 200 hectares of land is being used illegally. For businesses in Maitama, the countdown is on. Possible eviction is just days away. Those who don't move will find out if it's just a threat or if their doors get closed for good. Punarman Fentola, Arise News.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by OLUTOYIN, the president of the Nigeria Institute of Town Planners. Good evening and great to have you on NEWSNIGHT, sir. All right. So who do we hold responsible when we have situation where buildings approved for residential purposes are converted to commercial use without approval? Is it those who did it or the regulators who should have made sure this didn't happen in the first place?
I think it's a collective responsibility. Truth is that governance is about the people. And when urban plans are prepared, they are also about the people, which is why stakeholders fora are always necessary in preparation of those plans. And when plans are made, they should be made public. What we have seen over time is that there are very few people who even know about the plans of the areas where they live. And so it shifts between government, which is the enabler, and then the people who are the beneficiaries. It is required that plans are made and then people follow the plans. But we have seen occasions where we don't get the best and then people resort to self-help. That's what has happened over time.
So now, apparently, somebody really should take responsibility for this. I mean, the basic question people would ask is, where were the authorities, whether in the case of Abuja, the FCTA, and town planners like yourself? And I'd even like to know, do you work in tandem, as in town planners and the authorities, in coming up with the master plan of any city for that matter?
Well, let me say that there are various areas of operation as town planners. For example, I am a private sector planner.
Okay.
I don't work in the ministry. And then there are those in the public sector. And of course, we have those in the academia. The Nigerian Institute of Town Planners is an association, an umbrella of all of us. Now, the planners in the public sector coordinate the preparation of plans, because the plans could either be prepared right in the ministry, or they could be outsourced to consultants, but then the government employed planners are the ones to coordinate. Now, the truth about plans is that when they are done, they ought to be made public. Most of our plans are not public, and that would be the fault of government, you know, because when you make laws, just like it is required that the National Assembly, in making laws, will have public hearing. It's the same thing with plans. Okay. So if people don't know details about plans, they can get into trouble. But
is that what it is? Or because in the case of the planning authorities, or the state authorities who actually give the plans, in the case of Abuja, for example, is it a case of, you know, influential people, politicians and what have you, using their influence to make people in the authorities actually turn the other way?
We have all possibilities. We have all kinds of possibilities. So it actually depends on who is regulating. But the thing about plans is that
sorry, I'm sorry to
laws.
interject. I was just wondering,
yes,
who is supposed to be the regulator, because it is the issue of enforcement that we're talking about
yes,
here.
It is the planning authority.
Yes.
It is the planning authority. And plans are actually laws, not meant to be, they are laws. Plans are laws. Under normal circumstances, when a plan has been made, it should even be taken to the National Assembly and be passed into law. So for anything to change it, it means you have to revert back and make a review of that law. So what may have happened over time, let's not forget that human settlements are like living organisms. They grow, they expand,
time. Yes.
they can also whittle down. And as they grow, there's supposed to be a review of those plans. So the Abuja Master Plan has not been reviewed, and population has outgrown what it was before. So some needs have arisen over time, and if those needs are not taken care of, like water finds its level, those needs will begin to find their level.
So now that in the case of Ghana Street, the regulators have given 7 days notice for businesses to move, especially in buildings that were originally meant for residential purposes. Are there any laws guiding this, and what really should be happening now? What options are there for the business owners?
Well, the planning authority may have used the standard laws that you give a 7-day notice and then people will move. But you look at cases on their own merit. There are some businesses that can't move immediately. You know, that's if they are wrongly located. They can't move immediately. It takes time. And I think it's appropriate for all parties to come to the table and examine on their own merit what they need to do. Because in governance, you achieve the best result when there's a win-win situation.
Okay, so when you have a situation like this, someone has got to be pointed at and said, you dropped the ball. Now going forward, this is what has to happen. Ghana Street, for example, it did not turn into a commercial avenue.
Overnight?
Overnight. It's over time. How did the authorities not notice that this is what is evolving? And these are your colleagues. I'm sorry to point fingers at you, but these are your colleagues. You are town planners. You were trained.
Okay, that's why I said, she asked the question the other time, and I said, it's a possibility. Now, I've been privileged to be a regulator. I served the Babatunde Raji Fashola administration as commissioner in 2011 to 2015. And I can tell you that it was difficult to do some things.
Okay, why?
The reason being that sometimes government itself does not have sufficient staff to handle situations. In a situation where you have about 43,000 constructions going on at the same time, and you have less than 1,000 staff to monitor, then you have difficulty. So government itself must employ enough personnel to monitor. Then government must be ready to fund monitoring activities. Government is not funding monitoring activities enough, because to keep environment sane, as in other countries, they fund it. They encourage citizens to be their own brother's keeper. So you see something going wrong in your environment, then you can call. I made that happen in Lagos.
Attention.
I made that happen in Lagos State. In fact, 5 years after I've left government, some people still call me thinking I'm the commissioner, because we embarked on stakeholders fora from local government to local government, making them understand that we needed to keep the environment sane.
Okay, thank you so much. OLUTOYIN AYINDE, President Institute of Town Planners, thank you so much for joining us.